here at River Bluff Park in Saugatuck Township. Come along with me, let's see. This is a wild geranium. How wide the river is here. Where the sun can sneak through, you see a lot more green on the ground. This park is filled with trees called witch hazel, which grows native here in Michigan. Also a lot of hemlock. You can see the new growth in the bright green. Look at this cool little thing. Look at this cool little thing. I don't know what that is. This park also has a ton of jack-in-the-pulpits. It looks like a leaf on top, but if you lift it up, you can see Jack. This one's green on the bottom, but many are purple or other colors. This tree is really young, but these can grow quite tall. This is called a sassafras, and something unique about it is that it has leaves 3 different styles. This looks almost like a fork. This one looks like a Michigan, and this one looks like another type of leaf with no lobes at all. We've seen a lot of May apples this year, but what we haven't seen is the flower. If you take a look underneath, there it is. This plant we're finding all over is called rattlesnake root. It'll grow super tall in the fall. This plant is actually parasitic. It doesn't do photosynthesis. That's why it's white. It gets its nutrients from other plants. Thanks for coming again with us.
Hello friends, welcome back to Exploring with Miss Emily. This week's theme is water. As most of you know, the oceans and lakes, the bodies of water on our planet, are polluted every day. One of the main pollutants is plastic. One of the things that we can do to help with this problem is to reduce, reuse, and recycle our waste, things that we would normally throw away. So a plastic water bottle like this, you would normally throw it away and it would become waste, but instead you can reuse it into a really cool art project. So let's go ahead and get started. All right, the first thing is to get a water bottle. If it's not empty yet, you gotta empty it.
I won.
So once you have your empty water bottle and you took off the packaging labels, you can go ahead and find some Sharpies or any permanent markers that you have. They do need to be permanent so it'll stay on the plastic. Crayola markers won't really work. Washable markers probably won't work. Go ahead and just start coloring the bottle. You could do stripes, patterns, whatever you want. We are going to cut the bottom of it off, so you really don't need to color the bottom. Once you are done coloring your bottle, you can go ahead and cut the bottom off and save it, because you could make a flower out of the bottom of the water bottle just by coloring it. So this is what your bottle will look like when you cut the bottom off. So now you want to cut your bottle by starting at the very bottom, the part that you already cut off. Take your scissors and just start to cut the plastic on an angle. Don't try to cut it too skinny or it will kind of rip right off. So just go ahead and cut it up on an angle so that you have a spiral when it's all cut out. And you want to stop when you get to the top of the bottle. the way to the actual top of the bottle, but the part that where it starts to curve, you can go ahead and stop right there. Good, Molly. Yep. And now you have a sun catcher that you can hang outside. Actually, before we hang it up, we need to add some string. So go ahead and find some sort of string that you have around the house. It can be fishing line or any kind of string. Cut a length and then tie it around the top of your water bottle. Once you have that tied in a knot, place the string over the top of it and then put the top on. See if you can get it to hold that string in there just to give it a little bit of extra hold there when it's outside. When you're done with that, hang it wherever you want it to be.
Hey there, guys. Today is our last normal, well, if you can call any of this normal, today is our last normal episode where we have all the segments that we've been doing over these last few weeks. Next week, we're going to visit a lot of parks, and that'll be a lot of fun to check out. But for engineering today, we're going to do a game. We're going to play a game of Will It Float? And what I want you to do is either when you go to a park, or maybe around your house, collect a bunch of different size and shaped leaves. We're gonna see if leaves can float, and the ones that do float, we're gonna see if they can hold up a penny, or 2 pennies, or even 3 pennies. So go ahead and collect a bunch of different leaves. I'm gonna show you a bunch of leaves that I have, and we'll play the game together. But then you do the same thing at home. If you don't have pennies, you could do other things too. You could find tiny rocks, or you could find anything, just to see if it would hold up. This heart-shaped leaf is from a redbud tree, right here in my backyard. I'm gonna see if it can float. And, yep, it does. And can it hold a penny? What about 2 pennies? It's indenting a little bit. What about 3 pennies? Whoa, 3 pennies. Let's try one more. 4 pennies. And it did it. The redbud shape worked. This one's even bigger. This is from a basswood tree, and you can see it's kind of heart-shaped, but one side's a little bit taller, and it's got these sharp teeth on it. Let's see if it can hold up 4 pennies. 1, 2, 3, 4. No problem for that one. I bet it could do 10. This dogwood leaf is a little bit smaller and rounder. Let's see how it does. It floats on its own. Uh-oh. Not even 1 penny. This is from a sumac tree. And you might be saying, Mr. Chad, that's got a lot of leaves. But actually, this is called a compound leaf. It's got a lot of leaflets connected on one stem here. Let's see how it does. Where do I even put the penny? Oh, it's holding. Maybe. That surprised me. Oh no, it's going down. Slowly, sumac. That's a no. This leaf is from one of my favorite trees in my garden. It's called a tulip tree, and it looks a little bit like a tulip. And you can see it's floating just fine. Let's see if it can hold up 4 pennies. 1, 2, 3. Uh-oh, water's sneaking in. Do you see that? That looks so cool, how the water's slowly coming on. 4. Oh man, didn't quite hold up 4. I still like that leaf, though. By now, you certainly have some guesses going on. I bet this catalpa leaf, I bet you know if this will hold up or not. What do you think? Let's find out. 1, 2, 3, 4. No problem for the catalpa leaf. This is a cherry tree. What do you think? Will this black cherry leaf hold up a penny? It's smaller. I kind of shed that penny. Let's see if it will do it now. Yeah, it's not quite right. This leaf is from a mulberry tree. They make delicious berries and delicious jam. Let's see how many it holds up. Not even one. These leaves are all from the same tree. It's called a sassafras tree. Some of them look complete, like an oval. Some of them look like a fork. And some of them look like Michigan. All three leaves can be found on the same tree. Let's see how they do. It floats. It holds one. Sorry about my lighting here. It holds two. It holds three. Oh man, it's really curving up though. Oh, four is just too much. Let's try this Michigan-shaped sassafras leaf. It holds one. It holds two. It's kind of doing what the other one did and kind of curving on. Oh, not quite three. This one's smaller. I'm starting to think smaller ones don't do as well. Let's see. It holds one. Oh man, it's down. So these leaves didn't hold up any pennies. These leaves held up just one. This one held two, and three, and four. Do you see a pattern? I think I do. It's been a pleasure, guys. Innogineering, you have been innogineered.
And now it's time for Silly Songs with Miss Hillary, the part of the show where Miss Hillary comes out and sings or plays a silly song. There are lots of fun things to do in the water during the summertime. You can go to the beach, you can swim in a pool, maybe water your flower garden or your vegetable garden, just turn on the hose and spray each other. I don't know. But do you also know that you can make a musical instrument with water? I did this week. Come on, let's check it out. Once you have your glasses filled up, try playing a simple song, maybe one like this. After you've tried playing a simple song, try making up something of your own, or maybe just improvising. Something kind of like this. Head on over to the specials packet this week for all the instructions on how to make your own water xylophone. Here are some of the materials that you're going to need. 8 water glasses that are all the same size. A measuring cup to make sure that you have the right measurements of water in each glass. Some food coloring. This one is optional, but I thought it was kind of fun to make the water different colors. Some plastic spoons. I just used plastic baby spoons because they were what we had at our house, but any sort of plastic spoon will work. Then go ahead and fill up your water glasses and make your own songs. Something simple, something hard, it's your own choice. There are even some more ideas in the specials packet. Go ahead, have some fun with water this week. Happy water playing!
This week for Fitness Fridays, we are going to have some fun with water. This week for our water games, we're going to be doing a water balloon toss, a bucket race, and some fun and sprinklers. Here we go. To stay cool this week, you can do a simple water balloon toss. Okay? You will throw it back and forth trying to catch the water balloon. Every catch you make, you have to take a step back. We will have Dad take a step back in this game. Ready, set, go. Oh, nice try. Hey, take a step back, Dad. Okay, it's time for the bucket race. You need a sponge and at least 2 buckets. We have 2 sponges and 4 buckets because Madeline and Daddy are gonna race each other. They're gonna see how full they can get their buckets in 1 minute. Okay, on your mark, get set, go. This got a head start. They gotta squeeze their sponges into their buckets and run back. Squeeze their sponges into their buckets and run back. 1 minute, let's see who can win. Oh no. Oh! Your last water challenge for this week is just to turn on the sprinklers and have some fun. I hope you had so much fun staying cool with our water games. See you next week, everyone. Bye.
Where in the world is Miss Sharon?
Aloha again. We're still in Hawaii, and we're going to talk a little bit more about the water, oceans around Hawaii. And I told you last time that this was a kind of an Earth Day quote that I made, and there are dates on it. This one says 1980, this says 2000, and this says 2020. And it shows what has happened to the coral reef over the last 40 years. 75% of the coral reef right now is endangered, and the predictions are if we don't do something to help out the coral reef will eventually be less than that, more like 90% threatened. So here's some things that cause the water in the coral reef to be polluted. Sometimes people aren't real careful about throwing waste into the ocean. Other times there are diseases that attack the coral. There's been overfishing. Too many people have been fishing. And there's been coastal development, which means people are building a lot of houses and condos and things around the ocean. And also global warming. And we all know global warming has affected a lot of climate change. It has also affected the temperature of the water. And coral can only live in certain temperatures. When the water even gets a few degrees warmer, several of the corals can't live. So this is what starts to happen. It starts to get lighter and lighter, the colors are lighter and lighter, and it gradually dies so that it turns white like it does over here. So we would like the coral reefs to stay like this. So scientists are developing some ways to help the coral reef. One of the ways is to study it. The scientists want to learn about it. So they're going in there and they're finding out that there are certain corals that can live even in warmer climates. So they're studying them to find out what causes that, why they're able to live, and they're also planting some of the coral reefs that are more hardy into areas where it started to die down. Also, you got to remember not to touch them if you're snorkeling or if you're swimming, not to step on them. And also fishing. Be careful that you don't destroy the fishing in that area. So those are things you can do to help the coral reef. Also, now we're going to talk about other things that live in the coral reef besides coral and fish. When I was snorkeling, I was very fortunate to see sea turtles that were swimming around. Now, sea turtles don't damage the coral reef at all. They don't even eat the coral. They eat seaweed and stuff that grows around the coral reef. But they usually swim around in there, and they're fun to watch. You can't touch those either. You got to be very careful because they are also endangered. So today we're going to draw a sea turtle. Now, in order to do this, we have to make a couple things. One of the things we're going to make in order to make our turtle is a texture board. Now, if you ever looked at a sea turtle or any kind of turtle, there's a lot of texture on there, just like there were on the rocks. Lots of little lines and designs. Well, I want you to find something at home. This is netting that's around a bag of oranges or onions. There's another one here that's already on my board that was around some sweet potatoes. So you want to cut this up to a square if you can. Find a small piece of cardboard. I just cut up a cereal box to do this. And then I wrapped the netting around it and I taped it, so it's taped on the back too. So this is just to show you the top of it. But you end up having a texture. You can feel that bumpiness. We're going to use that when we make our turtle. Now we're going to learn how to draw a sea turtle. Now I could go through all the steps. It would take a long time, so I'm going to show you this. And I would like you to pause your video and draw it step by step. So only show it for a couple minutes because I think you can do that. You can pause it. The only tricky part is down here where you start with the first shape that's kind of like it's got two sides there, and then you draw some more lines and then you fill those in. So practice drawing your turtle first. When you get your turtle drawn, there's my turtle. Make sure that it's the right size that would fit on here. You don't want it so big that it wouldn't fit on your texture board, because you're going to take a piece of aluminum foil, shiny aluminum foil, this is the back of it, and you're going to draw your turtle. Kind of hard to see with all the light, but you're going to draw your turtle on the aluminum foil, and then you're going to wrap it around your texture board. So I'm just bending the tin foil around it so it fits on there, and it's going to look like this. You can see the turtle on the texture board. Now just smooth it out a little bit, and you'll see, if you smooth it out, you'll see some of the texture in the background. You see that texture that's back there? Well, that's also going to be on our turtle. So I'm just going to rub it a little bit so I can see the texture. And you can kind of see the netting that was behind it, where the texture is. Then, using permanent markers. I tried doing this with regular markers, Crayola kind, and it smears too much. So you have to use permanent Sharpies in different colors. If you don't have that, you can also do the same thing with colored pencils. And I did one with colored pencils. You don't get quite as much of the texture, but you can do the same idea by putting paper on top of your board and coloring with colored pencils. But what happens when you color with the Sharpies, you get some really vibrant colors. You can see all that texture that's in there too, in the turtle. So that's what I want you to try. I want you to try to make a textured turtle using permanent markers. If you want, you can cut this out around the outside, glue it onto another piece of paper, make some more turtles, make a whole group of turtles, sea turtles. And think about the water and how we can protect the water so that the turtles and the fish and the coral reef all have a safe environment to live. Thank you.